So what we've got is it's a mortgage calculator, right? It's nothing that special. The thing that makes this one different is that it's infinitely customizable, because when you get creative, sometimes you get real creative and you want to choose different stuff. So if I have, for example, I had something in here I was looking up the other day, purchase price of 220, 35K down. Well, I want a quick reference. What's my down payment amount? As a rule of thumb, you don't want to go beyond 20% total entry fee. Down payment is just part of the entry fee. And we'll see that on the cash flow analysis tab here, where it says entry fee. That's made of 7 parts. Don't just give me the entry fee and include all of these things. Tell me what it is. Don't tell me this plus this, or here's your cash to close. Like, cash to close is not the same as entry fee, because what if I have rehab? That's after close of escrow. How much cash do I need to get into the deal and start making money with it? And that's what my cash on cash return is based on. It's not based on cash to close. So let's get away from that. So what I'm getting after is that the quick reference here, 15.9, I know I'm pretty close to the top end of what I can do, because I'm going to have closing costs and other things like that. It's going to be really hard to sell a deal that's going to cost 20+% of the purchase price as cash to close. So right away, I know this is a tight deal. Looking at that, when I say 35,000 down, I'm like, oof, this better be good in some other fashion to make up for it. Really good cash flow or something like that. That said, we have 220 minus 35 equals 185,000 of financing. Okay, we're still on a basic mortgage calculator here. I just want to make sure you guys understand when we're talking seller finance or any of these things, these are basic things to understand. So interest rate, if I want 0.0025, I can do that. And my term is 30 years or 360 months. And you can see that my payments just changed. My monthly, that's principal and interest. We're not talking taxes and insurance. Those are separate. So 533. So I can see now, if I know what I can afford, guess what? If I know I can afford $600 flat in order for this to be a deal for me, then I can say, I can play with the interest rate. I can say, let's look at 2%. 2%, please. Not 200. There we go. Okay, 683. So that's too much. Maybe I go 1.25. Getting closer. We'll try 1%. Okay, 1.025. Getting closer, but you can see how you can play with it little steps by steps to engineer your monthly payment to match what you need in order for that to cash flow. I don't want to talk about interest if I don't have to. I just want to talk about paying their equity out as a sales matter. So we're looking at 220, 35 down, relatively high, not insurmountable, but relatively high. And then if we've got a 30-year term, is pretty standard. But again, you can go, look, you can go 27.25. That's 27 years and 3 months, right? So don't let there be a box that traps your mind as to what's possible with these creative deals. Now, you'll confuse people if you start talking about all that stuff. Remember, you want to keep it simple with your sellers. You can do all the engineering on the back end with this stuff. And then we have an amortization schedule. So guess what? This calculator is set up to give you a payment schedule that runs all the way and stops at the end. So 27 years and 3 months. So I can go select that and actually export it as an attachment on my contract if I need to. Print selected cells, and boom, I've got an amortization schedule. Multiple pages, boom. Beautiful. Attach that to the contract, say this is what we agreed to. Now, what's the next thing people ask for on seller finance?
The terms. How long?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's where we get the 27. Well, I'm going to put it back up to 30 years, but those are the terms right there, the purchase, the down payment, and that stuff. But often they don't want to be financing for 30 years. What are they really after?
Balloon payment.
They want balloon payments. They don't want to leave you. They don't want to finance you for 30 years. They may not know it's called a balloon payment, but they're like, I'm not financing you for 30 years. Okay, well, how long will you finance me? Like 10? Okay, so let's do a 30-year term because that's the payments I can afford, and I'll give you a 10-year balloon. So you've got quick reference table right here. You can say, okay, 5, 7, 10, 15 balloons. So now you know that at the end of 5 years, I will have, that'll be such and such date, right? If we do 9/1, what's the next date? 7, 6/1/23, let's say we close one this month and that's the first payment. So on 6/1/2028, that'll be a 5-year. If I have a balloon, I will have paid you $35K in interest, $17K in principal, and then I have to either refinance or pay you a balloon payment of some sort of $167,000. That's quick reference info for me. That's handy. Now, are you guys familiar with what you can refinance for? Like loan to value ratios? It's usually 60/40, 70/30 loan to value. And I used to think that a 70% loan would be a slam dunk, easy to get, like no cash out of pocket. I could do that. Lately, that seems a bit more like I should be shooting for the 65 or 60% instead of 70. But if I know that this property is 220 and my outstanding balance in 5 years is 167, maybe I should find a way to put this calculation directly in here, but I don't have it. So 167 divided by 220. That's 75% loan to value, but that does not assume appreciation on the 220. So in 5 years, if the property is worth 265, do you guys understand this calculation I'm making, by the way? To figure out the loan to value ratio, I'm going to take my outstanding balance at 5 years, which is 167,000 approximately, and I'm going to divide that into what I'm guessing the future value of the house will be. In 5 years, I think that property will be worth, let's say 265. So 167 divided by 265, and I've got a 63%
loan to value
loan remaining on that property. So that should be a slam dunk, easy to refi out. No problem. I can go get any investor bank loan and I can refinance that seller. So I would be comfortable with these terms on a 5-year balloon. Not that I'm aiming for a 5-year balloon, because dang, if you were 4 years ago and you set a 5-year balloon, you are hurting for interest rate. So the longer, the better. But I know that I could reasonably get a refinance on this. Does everybody follow? Do we have any questions before I move on? Now, sometimes it's a seller finance in connection or in addition to a subject to amount on these creative deals. And so you have to do this and you have to calculate 2 loans into your monthly payment. We also have a little section here to calculate or to show to a seller. So I'll copy paste this directly into an email and say, look, you wanted $220,000, but by the end of the 15 years, I'm paying you 313. So let's turn your house into like an annuity that pays you over time. That's what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to make you, if you want cash now, but if you leave the cash in the property, then guess what? It's going to pay you over time. So that's what I go for with this seller finance little presentation.